Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms, and these are Charter Moms Chats. And for just about a year now, we've been going live to share what families need to know to keep their kids learning and covering issues that they need to know about distance learning and the pandemic, how to keep learning while being at home. And now we're kind of looking towards the future and helping families choose what schools they want to enroll their kids in for the coming school year, when hopefully we'll be able to gather more and do more things in person. And today we're featuring the Northeast ISD magnet schools, which have a distinguished tradition of offering really excellent education. And I think families may not know that these schools are open across the whole community, and they may not know what the range of specialized programs that are offered at Northeast ISD. So to talk with us today, we have Ben Peterson, who's the Senior Director for Career and Technical Education at Northeast ISD. And then we also have a teacher, Domingo Martinez, and he is at the Engineering and Technologies Academy, ETA, at Roosevelt High School, which is on the northeast side of town, as you might guess from the name, Northeast ISD. And actually, it's over by Rackspace. It's kind of that part of town. And then we have one of Domingo's students, Joshua Ikejiani, and he is a senior at ETA. So thank you all so much for joining us. And I have a set of questions I want to ask you guys. I'm just really excited to, we're going to focus in on, these particulars at the school that Domingo and Joshua represent, but we're also, Ben's going to kind of cast like the overall view of Northeast ISD magnets and how families can get involved. So, okay, so first let me switch this around a little bit. Okay, wait, I'm putting, Domingo, you're on the main screen. So what I wanted to ask you about is about your particular school and what do you like best about teaching there?
Greetings and salutations, everyone. So our particular school, the Engineering Technology Academy, encompasses a wide variety of programs, specifically aerospace engineering. We do advanced manufacturing. We have media technology, and at the moment we have cybersecurity, but I believe that it's being phased out for the larger district as a whole. But my focus is advanced manufacturing and robotics, and my goal is just to make sure that my students are fully capable of entering the workforce right after graduating, or go to a higher level university and make sure they succeed academically. So within our ETA magnet program, what I really enjoy most about this academy is just the environment and the people around it. The teachers, everyone is really welcoming. We work cohesively. We always collaborate on projects. So if one team, say like one extracurricular team, needs resources, another extracurricular team will be glad to provide those resources or help each other out. When I first got here, Ms. Gentry, one of the teachers that's been here the longest, she kind of mentored me. She showed me the ropes, and she was, glad to help me out in any way I needed it. And I'm doing the same thing with one of our new teachers, Mr. LaBelle. So we truly are a family. We help each other out whenever we can. But more importantly, the students really engage well with each other. They collaborate and they learn from each other. And they're always kind of just mentoring each other. And Joshua can give a great story about that, because right now he's mentoring one of our students in our robotics teams, and he has just a wide variety of knowledge and skill set that he's adapted throughout the years, because he's been here 4 years. So that's really my favorite part, is just watching my students grow, watching them foster that love of education, of engineering and technology, and just helping them out whenever I can. And it's just a great dynamic environment.
It sounds, so what I'm hearing is that so teachers who are more senior are helping new teachers. Teachers who are sponsoring one activity will help out another activity if they need supplies or resources, and that carries down to students who are more senior, like Joshua, helping younger students, and that sounds like a really great learning environment.
And it's all about fostering growth. And whenever somebody comes in, we make sure that there's a support system in place to ensure that person, whether it's a student or teacher, to make sure that they're successful in their endeavors.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna put Joshua up on the main screen here. There we go. Joshua, thank you so much. You must be super busy. I see there's like lots of equipment and lots of supplies that you're around. So I was wondering if I'm going to ask you a similar question to what I asked Mr. Martinez. So I was wondering if you could talk about like your favorite experience, maybe with a class or with an extracurricular activity. What at ETA, like what have you enjoyed most?
I know my favorite activity all these years has been robotics, and I did it in middle school, and then my middle school coach recommended me to go to ETA. I came here for that, and it's been a blast these past 3 years, and it's still, even through this pandemic and this difficult time, it's still been one of the best experiences of my high school career. Um, ETA, like, and the resources they provided, I remember it was much harder to sort of secure funding in my middle school days, and they just opened up so many doors, and that was just really valuable for me, and I wouldn't be exactly where I was without them.
So I'm trying to picture like, so what type of is it the like first robotics, like where there's challenges that you'll do, or is it a different type of robotics that you're working in?
Oh yes, we work within First Robotics. I've mainly done FTC for the last 4 years, and I've also worked on the FRC team as well here.
Okay, yeah. I remember oh gosh. So pre-pandemic, there was a big regional competition at the convention center downtown, and I went. I took my kids, and we toured like the sort of staging areas where all the teams were, and I was so impressed with how robotics, how it supports students, because it's not just the folks who are building like cutting metal or soldering wires, but it's also like the people who are coding the robots, and then also sort of like the sort of marketing, which is sort of my thing, right? Like like, do you have an Instagram account for your team, right? And that there's really roles for lots of different personalities, and the way it fosters teamwork, and encouraging kids who maybe are stronger in one area to like collaborate with kids who are stronger in other areas, to reach this overall goal. And there was much more to it, to robotics, than what I had envisioned before I went to see the competition. So that's something that I hope, if somebody's hearing this and thinking robotics, and like maybe they have something in their mind about what it is, and it's like these giant industrial machines or something, like it's actually like much more accessible and hands-on, and there's lots of girls, and like it's not the stereotypes, like there's just a lot more to it. So anyway, that's kind of my little aside. Like I was super impressed, and in San Antonio, there's teams from like the Catholic schools. There's like elementary and middle school teams, right, that have Lego robots, and so it's just this whole right. And then so the schools in Northeast bring these like gigantic teams, and they all have their colors. Wait, so what are y'all? What's your team called, and what colors do you wear?
Well, here in ETA, we have several teams. So we compete in SA Best, the SA Best competition, which is usually hosted at St. Mary's University. We also compete in FRC, which is First Robotic Challenge, First Robotics Competition, and we also compete in FTC. And so we have techno writers for FTC, we have full writers for FRC, and we also are the Roosevelt team for SA Best. And as you mentioned, it's not just about building, it's not just about working with soldering and working with machining tools, but we come together as a team to create an environment that utilizes our knowledge and our skill set to help the community around us. So we do a lot of outreach events. We make sure that we show the community the benefits of STEM education. So we build our students to be marketers, to be campaigners. They build websites, they build social media, they reach out to the community, they create fundraising events. So it's all encompassing. It's not just programming, and it's not just building, but we also really focus on those as well. And so I manage several sub-teams within our team. So within our extracurricular team, there's just different sub-teams that are just helping each other out, and everyone's bouncing ideas back to each other. It's a tremendous environment.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and it supports school spirit, right? Because I guess that's for folks who don't know, like Roosevelt, it's the Rough Riders because of the connection to like Fort Sam and Teddy Roosevelt and the the Menger Bar, right? But then I like how it's been. You guys are updating it for the robot era, so I think that's great. Okay, let's see if I can. Let me bring. Let's see. Okay. My next question is I wanted to ask Ben. Okay, so Ben, you're going to be on the big screen here.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so we've heard from Domingo and Joshua about their experiences. They're talking about extracurriculars and like the environment and like the kind of teamwork that they have. So I was wondering if you could sort of put this in the greater context of magnet programs in Northeast ISD and also like career and technical education.
Yeah, no, thanks, Inga. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about this. CTE, career and technical education, has really expanded, and I'm sure most of the folks here have explored CTE and are familiar with what it is now. I grew up in a small rural area, and the only CTE options we had, and we used to call it vocational ed, were ag and homemaking, right? And so we had, maybe 6 to 8 different classes. You could take 3 or 4 in each of those 2 pathways, and that was about it. We have since the state and actually the nation have really expanded CTE offerings to tackle the workforce needs of our country down to our state and even our region. And so here in Northeast ISD, we have right at 40 different pathways that we offer within career and technical education. And I mean, obviously 40 is far too many to list. But so in those 40 pathways, we have 4 or 5 different classes within each pathway. So we have over 150 classes now that we're offering, which is, I think, just one of the greatest things about secondary school is it's the selection process where the kids get to select their courses that really line up with their interest and their strengths. Or if a student's not aware of their own interest and strengths, it allows them the opportunity to explore, right? Maybe it's because of friends taking the course, or maybe it's because of prodding by mom or dad, but the kids can explore. And so my job, I tell people all the time, it's got to be one of the most fun jobs within a school district is to support these teachers and these courses and these students. It's every day I'm getting great news about what students are doing across the board in our secondary schools, middle school and high school. As for the magnets, I get a lot of questions asking what exactly our magnets are. And Northeast ISD has a plethora of magnet programs, of which I get to oversee most. We do have the International School of the Americas, which is its own magnet campus. It's a magnet school that has their own principal. I won't even try to explain exactly what ISA is, but you can look on our website. We also have NEISD, the Northeast School of the Arts, which I don't oversee, and they're probably very glad that I don't oversee fine arts. But all the rest of our programs, we have about 12 other programs that fall under the CTE umbrella, and I do get to oversee those, and it's just a blast. It really is, I think they're really designed as small learning communities, primarily, I would say, for students who really kind of already they're at least leaning one way in one particular interest. The options at each of these magnets really narrows, but the coursework deepens within our magnet programs. And so you find a lot of like-minded students. I'm a parent of a magnet student, and it was so interesting to see my son as he went into middle school, find a magnet of his liking, and then find out that, wow, there are so many kids that have similar interests to me here at this program. And so he took a liking to that, obviously, and has really deepened his learning and understanding through his magnet program. He's excited next year. He's going to continue on with that magnet program at the high school level. And so it's great to see as a parent that what I see professionally is actually happening, personally also. And he comes home every day excited about what he's learning. I think Domingo and Joshua both, talked about kind of the teamwork. And that's really what it is. When you have those small learning environments, it allows the students to get to know their team, work deep with a team, problem solve with a team, communicate with their team, with all their activities, from the very beginning activities we see at the middle school levels, all the way up to the activities that Joshua and his classmates are doing as upperclassmen at their high schools, where a lot of times we have kids participating at the state and national level, and they are so ready for that next chapter of their life, whether it be workforce or college, because of these opportunities. They really are enriched opportunities.
Actually, that was we have a viewer ask a comment, says, what do they plan to do after graduation career? But what you're indicating is that it could be that they go directly into the workforce, or it could be that they take what they know about themselves and use that to be really focused about their college education.
Yeah, the opportunities that are in existence now for these kids because of their experiences, and we also tie in very closely to industry-based certifications. All of our pathways are aligned with industry-based certifications. So these kids are beginning to build their resume as high school students. And so for those who want to go to college, and this is one of the greatest things I see, is students are able to find jobs within their field of study instead of working at, with all due respect, McDonald's, or traditionally what we think of as those college jobs. I'm going to babysit, or I'm going to go work at the car wash, or what have you, which are great, and they have their own incredible room for growth, right? But for a student like Joshua, if he was going to study engineering, he could find a job maybe, or find internships because of the resume that he's been able to build in high school. So absolutely, that was a great question. We do get asked that question quite often. It used to be for those kids that didn't want to go to college. The vocational ed was always seen as that, and that stigma that we're really trying to overcome. I feel like our kids have a competitive advantage whether they go directly to the workforce or to college because of the experiences they're given.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That adds a lot of context to. But I want to bring it back to, let's see. Okay, Domingo is up next. Let me put him on the big screen there. Domingo, sort of, following on what Ben was talking about, that he mentioned that students are getting certifications that tie in with what industries are offering. So I was wondering, in what ways does the program at ETA prepare students for the future, either like the knowledge they're getting in their courses, the teamwork that they practice when they're on the robotics team together, the kind of independence that they build when they're working on projects. So what are some of the benefits that you see for the students?
So the students definitely get those intangibles. They understand teamwork, they understand collaboration, they know what it means to work cohesively for a greater good, right, to overcome a challenge. And so these are things that they're going to just grow and develop over time, and it's going to be transferable to either, the workforce or the higher education or university. However, my goal is to make sure that they understand and gain that content knowledge that's going to make them truly successful academically or professionally. So when they get to the workforce, like Mr. Peterson said, hey, maybe some of them want to go directly into the manufacturing facility and work there in a Toyota plant. So we give them the skill sets to be successful within that environment. So we make sure that they have those industry-based certifications, whether it's the robotics certification, Operator 1, or the NIMS electronics control certification. We provide that here at ETA. But I also like to focus on really rigorous robotics and programming materials, specifically, artificial intelligence, which we're going to be diving deep into next year. But we've done a lot of autonomous systems, creating and developing autonomous networks with sensor applications. And so we've done that in our electronics courses and our robotics courses. So we make sure that our students are both academically prepared to succeed at whatever university they want to pursue, but also make sure that, hey, if they don't want to go to the college level just yet, then they can go directly into the workforce and be ready, make sure that they have their certification. Joshua here already has his IBC. He's got his industry-based certification in Autodesk Inventor. So he's adequately prepared to be successful regardless of whatever route he decides to take in life.
That's awesome. Okay, that's the perfect lead in. Okay, because I wanted to ask Joshua about what he's been learning and how it's going to prepare him for the future. So I'm curious, tell me more about the Autodesk. So that's a computer-aided design system, right?
Yes. So in our case, we use Autodesk Inventor, which is a program that kind of allows you to plan out and build things virtually before, perhaps, asking someone to buy the parts. You could design beforehand. Maybe you are a company and you have to design a product and you have to secure a vendor with that design before actually, building it physically. So it's a really useful certification that I know I'll be able to use in my career or leverage in certain opportunities.
Yeah, that's one of the things where it's like, for me, it's like, wow, we live in the future. It's like you can design it in 3D, in the computer, and then do y'all have 3D printers where you can prototype stuff out of Autodesk?
Yeah. Okay. There's one in the room I'm currently in, so yeah, and it's very useful to get that experience manufacturing.
Yeah, those are fascinating. I don't know. I hope someday they get to be cheap enough that I can buy one just to play with.
Joshua's also a pro at the CNC machine, so he can do some higher level manufacturing using some pretty intense industry-based machine tools.
Okay, so that's when you start out with a chunk of metal, and then the computer carves it into the exact shape of the part that you designed in Autodesk Inventor. That's really cool. Again, see, we live in the future. That's amazing. Did you use the CNC machine to make parts for the robots?
So far, I don't think specifically for the robots, but for other projects. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, okay, for the SA Best competition, we used the CNC machine fairly extensively to create parts for our robot.
That's awesome. See, I think that's one of the great things about things like extracurriculars, or if you're doing projects together. It's like, if you're working towards a goal, at least this is how I imagine it is, or you can tell me if this is true or not, but the goal is to make the best robot you can, and then you're going to use the tools that are available. And if that is a CNC machine, then that's the motivation, to learn how to use it. And then along the way, it's like, oh, well, but now I already know how to use it. I might as well get this certification, right?
Yeah.
Is that kind of how it works, or am I? I don't know. I only have a 13-year-old, so I haven't gotten to play with all these cool toys yet.
That was something like it. I first learned how to use Inventor my freshman year through a class in ETA, and then later on when Martinez came in last year, I was able to get that certification. So it's kind of like when you do those projects, you just get better and better. And then with some extra learning and lessons or online tutorials that we were able to receive through ETA, I was able to get the certification.
Yeah. Well, it's like Mr. Martinez said that he wants the students to have the knowledge that you need, to succeed academically and to succeed in your jobs. And I think the way you learn that is by doing it, by using it. It sounds like the classes you have and the projects that you're doing are giving you the motivation to get really good at it.
Yeah, and it happens naturally because, Josh right now, he's mentoring one of my students in the robotics team. And so they're going back and forth. They're working on, Autodesk or Fusion 360, which is essentially Inventor. They're working on making edits, making designs, going back to the 3D printer, printing it, going back to the design. So they encompass the entire engineering design process. And Josh is doing a fantastic job mentoring. So he's already gained the skill sets to be, management type material whenever he does decide to go, into the professional realm. So it's great. It's great just overall, whether they're learning academically or whether they're learning those teamwork skill sets.
That's great. Okay, I'm going to bring Joshua back on screen. Joshua, do you know? I know, it's not graduation time yet, but do you know what you hope to do next year?
So next year, I will be attending a four-year university. I don't know exactly which one yet. Probably in a couple months, I'll have that information.
I've heard things are a little different this year. There's a lot of waiting lists, and just college admissions are just, like everything, a little different this year. But best wishes to you. I hope you get good news from the schools you've applied to.
Thank you.
Do you have a dream school or a particular major that you think you might want to choose once you get to college?
So I would like to go to Rice University. I haven't gotten their decision yet, so I don't know, and I don't think I will know for at least half a month. And for all my schools, I wanted to go into mechanical engineering, and that's where I really want to be.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and how great that you've been able to kind of, like your hypothesis is that you want to study engineering, and you've been able to test that already in high school with, studying engineering and getting a taste for it, so that when you get to college, you can hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so see, I want to bring it back to Ben. Okay, Ben, you're on the big screen. I wanted to ask you kind of, well, okay, actually, kind of two questions. One was, let's see, I think Mr. Martinez mentioned earlier about that there's going to be a change coming to the cybersecurity program. So I was wondering if you could explain sort of like what's new in Northeast ISD with respect to cybersecurity.
Wow, yeah, I'm super glad you asked that question. That has been probably at least half of my job for the last year and a half. The vision of our superintendent was to really expand cybersecurity opportunities to our students across the district. And as you can imagine, cybersecurity teachers, they don't grow on trees. And we happen to have a really good one out at the Engineering and Technologies Academy. And so what we've done is we have basically, where we are in the planning process, and we'll be opening it up in the fall of 21. We are going to be moving that program to a more centralized location. Our school district actually approved to purchase an abandoned Walmart over near MacArthur High School. It used to be an old HEB, now it was a Walmart. And so they just weren't getting any good offers on it. And all of a sudden the school district came in and they gave us a really good offer. And so we are going to centralize our program. It's really unique. We have several programs like this. We call them partial day magnet programs. These are programs where students from all 7 high schools can go for 2 periods a day, and then they go back to their home campus. So they don't have to give up their home campus. They can still stay with their friends or participate in extracurriculars, kind of with their peers that they've been with. And so we've had really good numbers with the ones that we've opened up in the past, probably 3 to 5 years. We've opened up 3 different programs. And so we're going to keep that same model here. But we are really, really excited. This is obviously it's a growing job market worldwide, right? And here in San Antonio, in our region, there are 6,000 unopened jobs or unfilled jobs right now. So we're wanting to create a talent pipeline that will allow these kids to fill the void and coming directly from our district. And I say our district, our magnet programs are very unique in that every single one of our magnet programs allows for out-of-district students. So we open our arms to anybody that's able to get to our programs. If you don't live within Northeast boundaries, you do have to supply your own transportation. But every single one of our magnet programs is open to students from the region, is what we say. Some of them require our partial day magnet programs because of proximity. They do require students to attend MacArthur High School. MacArthur High School is kind of in the center of our district, and it's closest to all of our partial day magnets. And the other ones we're at Madison High School, we're at Lee High School, we're at Roosevelt High School, and we are, is that all of them? I feel like, and then we're at several of the middle schools as well. So yeah, we're very excited about that opportunity. Very excited about the Cybersecurity Academy. As a matter of fact, I just got off a phone call with an assistant to the Assistant Secretary of the Army. And the Army is even very interested in what we're doing to create some cybersecurity talent here in our area. So very exciting.
My husband works in the cybersecurity field, and one of his greatest challenges as a manager has been recruiting. And he's worked very hard to retain employees because once they get some hands-on experience on his team, then they start getting a lot of calls from headhunters. So he can attest, and they've worked hard to bring in kids on internships and stuff like that, because it's it's a very in-demand field, but it's very satisfying work for the folks who do it, because they feel like they're on the right side, like they're protecting banks and corporate networks and individuals, people's data, protect them from the bad guys. And that's the world we live in. We do so much stuff online, but we need to be safe.
Yeah, the motto of our new program is called is for the public good, and it really comes down to public service and protecting those who are vulnerable, with a lot of different reasons, right?
Yeah. And then you mentioned about that the Northeast ISD magnets are open to families who live across the region, because there's, I don't know, something like 17, 18, 19 districts in Bear County, depending on how you count it. It's kind of fragmented, but but Northeast has been a leader in the region for a long time. And I think a lot of families, I hope that's one of the things people take away from this conversation, is that these schools are open to families across the region. It's just that the transportation is focused on the people in the boundaries.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, we have every single one of our programs has out of district students, and they really become family. And it's an investment in the parents to get up a little earlier, leave the house a little earlier, probably get home a little later. But you see, students like Joshua who walk away with some incredible opportunities. By the end of it, that I really think it's absolutely a worthwhile investment.
Yeah. So, okay. So I have one more question for Ben, and then I'm going to bring everyone back on screen. But take Ben. So, what should families do to get their kids enrolled at a magnet program or a CTE program in Northeast ISD?
Great question. Start looking right now at our website, which is neisd.net/magnet programs. There you go, right there on the screen. It's kind of our one-stop shop. We've really worked to kind of unify our approach. We have a common application for these programs. I will tell you that our main application window did close at the end of February, but don't let that, if you have a student that's in 6th through 12th grade now that might be interested, don't let that stop you, because each of our programs does have a wait list, and most of our programs get down deep into our wait list, because what a lot of students will do is apply for 3 or 4. And so what we're in the process of doing right now is sorting through and saying, okay, you got accepted to 2 of your 4. Which one are you going to choose? And so as they choose one, the other one will get to go to its wait list. So we are rapidly going through our wait list now and contacting families. If you're an elementary parent, don't hesitate to really delve deep into the magnet programs, find out about them, contact the directors of those programs, set up tours. I started looking at magnet programs with my son when he was in 3rd grade. He expressed an interest, and I just kind of knew his personality. I kind of knew where he was probably going to go. And so at 3rd grade, we started looking at attending events. In the winter, we do have open house events where we come all together and kind of have showcases. And then in January, we start having open house events. And typically every year, our recruitment season, the deadline for applying is typically at the end of February. So it's like I said, we're just a little late now, but don't let that stop you. And for those of you that have young students, don't hesitate to really start doing your research now and to apply as many as you like. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'll be sure and repost this in the fall, when the windows open up again, and get people thinking about it, and or we can have another conversation. Yeah. By then, Joshua will be studying engineering in college, but maybe Mr. Martinez can go back.
And our dates, we update our dates on our website. So if you go to the neisd.net/magnet programs, those open house dates will be posted every fall. Our magnet events are posted, and then like Josh was mentioning, all his robotic competitions, a lot of times those are posted on the school's social media and such. And so these kids are very, very active. Many of the students participate in extracurriculars. And so that's what is one of the things that makes it very, very fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to go around and give everyone a chance to kind of share final thoughts. So Joshua, if I can send it over to you, sort of what advice do you have for like maybe kids who are looking at a transition like to 6th grade or to 9th grade, and like why they might want to choose a magnet program like you did?
It's definitely about developing your interests. At that age, you kind of have things that you think you might want to do, and I think early on it's really important to just like delve in, find out what you like, find out what you don't like. You won't like everything at first, and it's just that exploration that I think helps a lot in kind of discovering yourself, honestly. And I'm really glad I did that, and I decided to join my robotics team in middle school because, it gave me all the friends and experiences I have today.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. I'm glad you found a setting where you can thrive, and that it's setting you up for what I hope are great adventures in the future. Okay, so Mr. Martinez, I want to kind of ask you a similar question. Like, what advice do you have for families or students who are, thinking about choosing a magnet program like Engineering and Technologies Academy?
So if you know yourself, if you know who you are, and you know you want to be challenged, but you know you want to have, a tremendous, awesome time and have fun doing so, then ETA is the way to go. So Engineering Technology Academy is going to challenge you, but also help you grow as an individual. So, I went to UT. I'm a subset of Texas, and our motto at Texas is "What starts here changes the world." And I'm a subset of that. I believe firmly in that motto. And so if you come to ETA, we're going to give you the skills to help change the world, to help solve very difficult problems that our society is going to need you to solve. So, as a young person, as the next generation, it's up to you to face these challenges and overcome them. And we teach you that here at ETA. We teach you how to, hey, you got a challenge, here are the skills to solve them, here are your friends. Go ahead and challenge each other, help each other grow, and I'm here to mentor you.
I think that's one of the best gifts you could give to kids. I think is helping them find things that are meaningful to them, because we all know that life and adulthood is hard work, but if you feel like your work is meaningful and that you're making the world a better place, then it just makes it all the sweeter. And I think the sooner we can introduce kids to those ideas and get them thinking about how to solve the world's problems, that it will enrich their education and help them to contribute more to the world and lead fuller lives. So that's a beautiful vision. Okay, so I'll let Ben kind of close us out. So,
yeah, I think I would just really encourage parents to research these programs, contact these programs, realize that you're not really pigeonholing your student. I'm a firm believer in that these programs will help our students grow regardless of what they want to study. We've had kids that might study maybe within our IT pathways that go on to study biomed in college, but they walk away with a skill set that's going to help them, right? So if you get into these programs, you're really not pigeonholing yourself. There are choices within the programs. They're limited, but you look at the website, you'll see what those options are. We've had kids that have studied for 3 or 4 years, maybe at our automotive academy or our construction academy, to say, hey, I just want to be able to work on my own car, or my own house. I want to be able to fix and repair things at my own house, but I'm going off to study, to be a teacher or what have you. So it's always exciting, and there are endless opportunities at these programs. And so, like I said, I think the best thing you can do as a parent is really just delve into them, attend our events, talk to the teachers. At all of our events, we have teachers, students, directors, counselors that are there that can really answer all your questions. And we love finding those students that are looking for something unique. And I feel like we have some very unique opportunities out there.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, Ben and Domingo and Joshua, thank you so much for joining me on Charter Moms Chats, and I hope that this inspires families to research more about magnets at Northeast ISD.
Thank you very much, Inga.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, y'all.